Welcome. We just got in the print-proof copies for 65-second edition, 65-second edition upgrade kit, the Kickin' scenario booklet, the Drawn Swords box, the 65 action cards. I think I got everything. So in this video, I'm going to be unboxing all of that, talking about some key points and some really interesting, cool stuff with these new additions that we have, and then these brand new scenarios, and then also talking about some compatibility between the first and second edition of 65. So thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps boost our videos in the algorithm. So for those of you who aren't familiar with 65, this is technically the second game in Mark H. Walker's Squad Battles system. So the first one was Night of Man, and then this one was next. So 65, the subtitle is Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam, so that gives you a lot of context for what this is. It uses the Squad Battle system. If you're familiar with 85, which came out last year, which is up for a CSR award actually, it uses the same system. And 65's second edition is going to be even more similar to 85. So if you've played 85, 65 is going to feel really familiar. I actually really like playing 65. I've played first edition, haven't played second edition yet. I take that back. I've actually play tested 65 second edition. So let's go ahead and let's talk about a couple key points that my dad, Mark, sent over to me to let you guys know. If you're interested in this game and you missed the Kickstarter, check out the link below. You can still late pledge in backer kit to get it in. So let's go through some of these key points, and then I'm gonna actually unbox it and show you guys what's inside all of these different things. So some new things are that all of the vehicles have now spraying fire, and all helicopters are difficult targets. So that was different between the first edition and the second edition. There's a new action card deck. This includes event mechanisms. So if you've played 85, this event mechanism was introduced in 85 and it is now in 65. It includes improved card mechanics that require less shuffling and some new cards such as Panic Sniper and Grenades. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Squad Battle system, this is a card-driven two-player war game. And basically everything that you are able to do is going to be determined by the cards in your hand. So you get to draw up to 4 every turn. And there's a top and a bottom to each card, and it might say fire, move. You can have reaction cards that react to whatever your opponent does. There are supplemental cards or support cards that you can use to enhance your attacks. So basically, that adds in a lot of fog of war. So your opponent never knows if you actually have a fire card in your hand or if you have a move card or anything like that. There's also artillery cards and things like that. So anything that you want to do, you have to already have in your hand. Also, the turn length is going to be determined by the cards and the different end turns that you're going to be drawing. Combat is also resolved by cards. If you're interested to see how this system works, my dad and I did film a playthrough of 85, and you can watch us play through 85 and get a better idea of how the flow of the game works. It's very fast-paced and really fun to play. So the player aid cards have been enhanced and updated and more streamlined. They're really clean and useful, and they're ready to keep you in the action instead of the rulebook. So there are now 2 per player. The rules have been overhauled, they have been edited. They're even more compact, clear, and they are fully updated. Drawn Swords and Kickin' Ass, let me go ahead and show you that. These are totally new. This is Drawn Swords. It's actually a boxed expansion that you can see. I'll unbox this in just a second. And then Kickin' scenario book we have here. So these were going to be, these are the new materials that came out with this Kickstarter that weren't available before. They have the attitude to match the name, which is a quote from my dad. So let's see what's new. In Kickin' Ass, there's going to be 8 historically accurate scenarios, as you can see here. They include the United States Marine Corps, USA Anzac Forces. You must own the USMC Anzac expansion to play. So if you don't have that, that is available in our web store, which is, you can see it's the USMC Anzac expansion. I'll link it in the description below. So you have to have that in order to play these Kickin' scenario book, these supplemental scenarios. Okay, so in Drawn Swords, the additional boxed expansion that we had with this, It brings in the army of the Republic of Vietnam, the South Vietnamese army, and they include 6 new scenarios, a new geomorphic mounted map, which is pretty cool, 1 sheet of ARVN and NVA counters, and 9 new action cards. So quite a bit boxed up in here. I'll open it up in just a minute and show you what's inside. In the base game of 2nd edition as well, you get to have new battles. Each one is a new war story waiting to happen. They have been updated scenarios, and many include new events, and there's also 1 additional scenario. In the update pack, which is here, which is actually a boxed update kit. I really like the red around the edge. It looks really nice. It gives you everything to take your 1st edition copy of 65 and bring it to the 2nd edition standards. It has rules, PAC, and then also the updated counters and cards. So the updated counters that you need, I'm going to go back to what I said before, but now all vehicles have spraying fire, and then now helicopters are difficult targets. So those are going to be new symbols that are on those specific counters. Okay, so let's talk quickly about compatibility because I get a lot of questions about this between 1st and 2nd edition. Okay, the event cards are added in just like 85. So some of these things are going to be dependent on those new event cards. So for example, with Kickin Ass, event cards are not compatible because there's no events in the 1st edition. Additionally, you do need that USMC Anzac expansion to play Kickin Ass. So you're going to need 2nd edition, USMC Anzac expansion, and then also to be able to play Kickin Ass. So 3 things. Same thing with drawn swords, with the exception of the USMC Anzac expansion. You're going to need 2nd edition because of those event cards. That made a huge change. And then also the spraying fire and the difficult targets with the helicopters. The new action cards are actually going to be, their bonus action cards are compatible with both editions. Oh, and lastly, Alone in the Jungle is compatible with both editions. Alone in the Jungle is the solitaire expansion, which most people ask about. And it is available in our web store if you don't have it, and it is compatible with 2nd and 1st edition. Okay, so let's unbox 65 2nd edition. At first glance and at first feel, it is really hefty. The box is beautiful. The art is awesome. Same art from before. So let's go ahead and let's open it up. Let's see. All right, so here are all the cards. Nice linen back cards. That was one of the stretch goals. These are the bonus victory conditions. I'll go ahead and read one of them for you, so in case you're interested. Here we go. Successfully execute a close assault, eliminating or retreating the enemy. Here's another one. Kill an enemy hero. So these are just some bonus victory conditions. These are really the heartbeat of the game here. Like I said, it's a card-driven game, so this deck of cards is going to be what moves the game along. So here's one of the new event cards that was added in. So the reason there's no text on here, if you haven't played this before, is that the events are going to be determined by the scenarios. So if you choose event 4, you will just have to refer to the scenario book to see what that specific event is. So they're not just 4 standard events that are applied for the entire game. They're going to be scenario dependent. Here's the new sniper card. The green means action. And it says, take a random card from your opponent's hand and then take an action. Pretty cool. Fast move, aim shot. For those of you who haven't played this before, like I said, there are 2 options. You might not be able to do both of them. And then at the bottom, these are going to be used to determine, these specifically are going to be for our armored vehicle combat, so like for targeting and the results of that. And then these hits, as you can see here, that is going to be for resolving combat. Let me show you a green one. There's green, yellow, and red, which all 3 mean different things and are used to resolve different types of combat, like moving fire or close assault or ranged combat. So counters are gorgeous as always. Look at these huge, beautiful counters with the original art by Kwanchai. As you can see, huge counters, and they're awesome because that makes it easier to read. So here's that spraying fire icon that I talked about is new to 2nd edition. So you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of counters. Here, some of the Vietnamese, and then also some of the admin counters. They're just so nice. They feel so good. Here are some more, a mix of both factions, or 3 different factions here. And then here's some more admin counters. A couple troops. Awesome. Look at this gorgeous rulebook. So it's been updated, it's been edited. There's a terrain effects chart on the back, which is additionally helpful. The scenarios are also going to be in this. So here are all the rules, which really honestly is not that bad for a hex encounter war game here. Let's see. So rules wise, for those of you who are interested, there's 26 pages, but you can see lots of pictures, large fonts, which, you know, we all don't like to admit, but we do like bigger fonts. And then we have the scenarios in the back starting on page 27. So let's see. And then also a very nice index starting on page 38 with a QR code. Great. So there are 9 scenarios, including a brand new one. So for those of you who don't have, who only have first edition, this one does have a new scenario in it. Okay, so even more player aids. So here, let's go through it. There's one for each player. So here's one for one player. They have the terrain effects chart, which was also on the back of the rulebook. And then you also have the combat tables here. And so like I was saying before, this is how remember how I said when you flip the cards over, there's different colored hits, and that it helps you determine the different types of combat and the results. So for example, fire or reload and fire, you hit on a green. For move and fire, it's going to be red or gold or yellow. Assault combat is going to be green or red. And fire from moving or landed helicopters are going to be red or gold. And then you have your HE range modifiers, APF range modifiers, all here on these sheets, and each player gets their own. Nice. So these, oh yeah, this was another stretch goal that was in the Kickstarter as well. This is my first time going through the box, so I'm getting excited about this too. So each player gets the turn sequence here. An overall, just an at a glance for the turn sequences, you deal cards, determine initiative, player impulses. So impulses are each player's turn, but a turn is like a bigger concept here, and impulses are just the back and forth. And then the end of turn triggers when the required number of end turns have been played or both players pass consecutively. And then you enter the reserve phase. Okay, now this is what I was saying was the stretch goal. I don't know who gave us this idea, but it was a great idea. We have listed here on the back, this is so convenient because I remember flipping through the rulebook all the time playing these games. You have all the powers listed here. Those can only be activated with a card that says power on it. Then the abilities are the things that they're just innately able to do. So like I pointed out before on that armored vehicle, spraying fire. So here, those big counters, they hold a lot of symbols, and it makes it really convenient and easy. But instead of having to flip back to the rulebook to refer to what those symbols mean, each player now has their own powers and abilities PAC. So super helpful. All right, and there's a D6 die. And then lastly, there are 3 geomorphic maps here that are gonna fit together in different ways depending on the scenario. Gorgeous art. The number of the map is right here. As you can see, huge hexes for those huge counters that go on there. I love the art in this game. I think it's beautiful. The kunai and everything is so pretty. That was map 3. This is map 1. Thick, mounted maps, top quality like you always expect from Flying Pig. This is map 2. So that is everything within the base game, the core game for 65 second edition. Now let's go ahead and move on to the 65 second edition upgrade kit. All right, so 65 second edition upgrade kit. Like I said, it comes in this awesome box, not a baggie. Has this really great red border here. It says upgrade kit, so you don't get it confused. So let's go ahead and let's unbox this and see what's inside, because I haven't even looked at this yet. All right, you get the updated deck of cards, which haven't even been opened yet. And then you are also going to get that beautiful rule book that we talked about with the updated player aid card on the back. You get the additional player aid cards here, the 65 terrain effects chart, combat tables, powers and abilities. Remember I said how awesome this was? And then the turn sequence player aid. So you get the updated player aid. And then you get a sheet of counters, which unfortunately a lot of them have been punched out already. but you do get a sheet of counters, and they have the updated information for the, as you can see, my dad went through these already and punched them out. Comment below if you're the type of person who likes to punch your counters back in, or if you put them in a baggie, or if you're chaotic and you just throw them back in the box, because I think sometimes I'm a mix of the three. But like I said, you needed these updated vehicle counters for the spraying fire, not power, but ability. And then also now the Hueys are going to be difficult targets. There's also a couple extra barrage markers here as well. So that's everything that you get in the second edition upgrade kit, which is, I mean, a pretty good value. And you get it in this nice box. Let's go ahead and let's unbox Drawn Swords, which nobody has seen yet. All right, Drawn Swords also comes in a box. So these three will look really good on your shelf, actually. Let's go ahead and look inside. So full color, thick telescoping box, just like every other Flying Pig game. Awesome, you get these exciting new cards. Let's open them up and let's see what is also linen backed. Oh, wow. So some of these are cool because they can only be used by certain sides. So here's one where the communists are allied. So you've got desertions, inflict 1 wound on any enemy leg unit. Napalm, allied only. Hit 3 hexes on a line with HEF3. Mark surviving units, ops complete. Ooh, ouch. No target hex within 2 hexes of friendly unit. Here's one too, South Vietnam only. U.S. advisors rally 1 South Vietnamese unit. Here we have communist only language problems. 1 CIDG or ARVN unit is marked ops complete. Wow, these are really exciting new cards too. Awesome, so you've got these. These are only gonna work with second edition, remember? And then that's going to be because of the events for the most part. In Drawn Swords, you also get this awesome full color, beautiful scenario book. So let's see, let's go ahead. There's a little glossary of terms here. So I said CIDG, that is the Civilian Irregular Defense Groups. For those of you who didn't know that, including me. They were created by the American CIA in the early 60s and then transferred to the US and ARVN Special Forces. And I'll let you finish reading that. And then they also have an explanation of some of the action cards here. Dr. Rigo Veliconia, I don't know if I've talked about him before because he's also working on 95. So he's super familiar with the squad battle system, and additionally, just extremely knowledgeable about historical warfare and modern warfare. He did all the scenario design for this. So Dr. Veliconia. So here we have all the different scenarios. So 5 new scenarios here, pretty hefty. Oh, 6, I'm sorry. Pretty hefty here. Okay, so you get the scenarios book, you get those new cards, you get the box. Finally, punched in counters, beautiful. As you can see here, bringing in some new armored vehicles, infantry units, special forces, some new heroes, the CIDG like I talked about before. Okay, oh cool, look at this. And a new map with a lot of new stuff on it. A lot of new buildings. Great situations for cover and interesting line of sight situations. Awesome, so that's everything in Drawn Swords. You get the map to go with the base game. You get a sheet of counters. You get 6 new scenarios with some historical information from Dr. Veliconia in the back, and a beautiful glossary. You're also going to get 9 new action cards with some really interesting new abilities and some just interesting situations that are going to happen. So that is Drawn Swords 65 expansion. So we have done 3. Let's go ahead and let's move on to the Kickin' Ass Scenarios book. All right, so Kickin' Ass Scenarios book. It's going to come in this baggie. So this is the one where you do need to have not only the second edition base game, but you need the United States Marine Corps ANZAC expansion, USMC ANZAC expansion, which was printed with the original 65. So you do need to get that, and that is in our web store. So you're gonna need 3 things, and 2 things plus this to play. So in each, so there is some cool information at the beginning here. I'll read the beginning. Welcome to Kickin'. 8 scenarios populate this expansion. The North Vietnamese Army, Viet Cong, United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, and the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps all find their way into these skirmishes. All the battles were expertly designed by Dr. Arrigo Veliconia, and they're all fun. I played them myself. We hope you enjoy them too. Mark Walker. So yet again, it's designed by Dr. Veliconia. And I can't, praise him enough. He is, PhD, very, very, very knowledgeable, and really brings an interesting perspective to the squad battles design. And I'm really excited to see 95. So Kickin' Scenario Book. Like I said, all you need is the base game and then also the USMC Anzac expansion to be able to play these Kickin' scenarios. All right, and lastly, we have the 65 second edition bonus action cards. All right, you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what I thought. 9 extra bonus cards, and they have some really fun things that are gonna happen. Let me just see, here we go. Veteran Medic. As a reaction, you can ignore the last 1 to 2 hits, leg unit only. Sandbags. As a reaction, you can add 2 to a vehicle's armor factor or 1 to a leg unit's cover factor. It's nice. Ooh, a conditional in turn is thrown in there. Supreme Effort. As a reaction, you can remove all markers from 1 unit. Oh yeah, I think I came up with this one. This one's called Time is an Illusion. Search the draw pile for the next end turn, remove it, shuffle the draw pile, and without looking at the faces of the draw pile, reinsert the end turn wherever you like. Pretty wordy, but still, I thought a pretty good idea. Oh, so I won't ruin all the surprises, but there's some really good stuff here. Awesome. So that is the group of bonus action cards that you get. These are only going to be compatible with 2nd edition. Thank you guys for watching this video where I unboxed a lot of stuff, but all the print-proof copies for 65 2nd edition, 65 2nd edition upgrade kit, the Drawn Swords box expansion, the Kickin' Scenarios book, and then also the 65 bonus action cards. This is a really fun game to play. Hopefully we can get some content out for you guys on the channel of us playing through 65. So if you're interested in learning how this game plays, before I put out that content, you can go ahead and check out on our channel the playthrough of 85. It is pretty similar, like 85% the same. There are some unique situations between that specific time period and then also 65, but you can understand the flow of the game and how it works. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you guys next week.